It's Mongoose Jake here, and I have another Ace Tanker video to show you. This time it's the Panther II in a top tier battle on Lakeville. Of course, this is the newer Panther II, which a few updates ago received the long 88 off of the E50. That was previously the only tank it was available on. This is not your typical 88 L71 that you would find on, say, the Panther 88 Premium or the Tiger 1 or the Tiger P. This is actually a 88 L100, which has normally insanely good penetration and accuracy. A little bit longer reload than the normal 88 L71, but having that insane accuracy and penetration is very nice. Now the battle's already started, and looking back, I actually feel pretty bad about the Type 58. He must have lagged out or disconnected, and if I had thought about it a little more on my feet, I would have turned him away from the lake. He rammed into me, and I didn't honestly know what he was doing, because the Type 58 is small enough that it's not going to affect my Panther II. But if I had been thinking a little quicker and realized he was lagging out, I could have directed him away from the water rather than losing an ally that quickly. But I'm trying to get set up on the mid-road to get shots on the heavies going into town, and I finally land one hit into their top-tier heavy, the Chinese 112, which at this point it's worth mentioning. Of course, if you pay attention to chat, our team's already noticed the fact that we only have 2 heavies compared to their 6, and both of ours are tier 6 heavies, and they have a mix of tier 6, 7, and 8 heavies. So they're going to have a pretty huge advantage in the city, and that's why even though I'm top tier, I am not going to go anywhere near that city, because I fully expect that we will lose it, and I fully expect that any vehicles that go to the city are probably going to get lost as well. And it's already starting out poorly for the team. The enemy is pushing the valley, they're already pushing the city, and they're even pushing the edge of the city near the water's edge. And right now, here's a little bit of indecision on my part. I know that the valley needs some help, but I see open shots on these heavies coming in, and I figured the easier tank to get rid of would be the T150, because when you're outnumbered, and already now the score is 1-4, you want to start taking out as many guns as possible. And right now, my supposedly highly accurate gun has been letting me down, as in I've had a lot of wild shots going into tracks, like there again. When this thing has over 230 penetration, it should be punching through a T150 on almost any angles. And here is a T29 who I believe had the luck of an Irish, because he is seemingly just immune to my shots, and you'll see more than once that T29 hull just absolutely being a pain for me to try to penetrate. But the enemy has pushed all the way through the valley, and now we have to get rid of them on this flank. So I watched the others go for the FV. I decide I'm going to finish off the SG-100, and now, at least for the time being, our backsides are safe from a push there, because at this point, if you pay attention, there's only very few tanks unaccounted for, and now the T-37 on the enemy team pushed up the road, so now we know where everyone except artillery is. And this 112 now is giving me very easy shots into his lower plate, which is weak, but I am shooting premium here. In this kind of a critical situation, if you've watched my other replays, I'm more than willing to switch to premium to try to even the scores, especially with the fact that my gun was bouncing off of tanks it shouldn't have bounced off of. So, in order to cut RNG, I definitely will fire premium. Now here I'm trying to thin the herd a little bit and put in shots into any available target, because we've got the scores kind of even at this point. It's 8-9, but looking at what we have, other than myself, we're looking at lower tier vehicles. We have an artillery who's out of position. He's dead. No matter what goes on, he's dead. And I already know that. And I'm trying to line up a shot to help him out. But with him being so far out of position, there was no chance of him making it out of that. And you have me on just a bit over half health. We got an SU-100 who's nearly dead. And there he goes, SU-100Y I should say. We got a D-Max behind us, KV-2. And there's the SU-100 also that's very, very close to being dead. I decided at this point that I'm going to go back and try to get hull down, because this is a great position here. If you ever end up in this situation, I'm going to put a screenshot up here in a couple seconds, and you'll see just how little of your tank can be exposed here. And you're going to see this Panther II actually start bouncing lots of shots. And right here I'll show you. You have very, very little bit of your tank exposed. So if you ever get in a position on this map where you're fighting for your life, get back to into these little crevices here. So far the only thing that's actually been able to penetrate was the Super Pershing, because he was a little bit higher up on the hillside, I do believe. But I'm still trying to take down this T-29. Finally his armor is aimed straight at me, and I'm able to put shots straight through his front. Here I'm going to focus in on trying to get rid of the dead tank. He actually bounced another shot again. But I want to get rid of that gun, even though he's bounced a few times. That 105 is a pretty damaging gun. And I just had to get rid of him. And while I was doing that, the Challenger was eating me alive because I couldn't get my gun depressed far enough. Thankfully, the KV-2 beside me takes care of him. I get back up into that position and able to knock out the T-150. So now we're down to the Super Pershing and his two artillery allies. He's backing up, so this position is no longer going to be useful. So I'm going to back up and turn and move around to a better position I see next to the dead Challenger. And again, I'll show a screenshot of why I'm doing this, how little of a shot he has. That's the view the Super Pershing is going to be seeing. I took that from his point of view. And you're going to see it turns this engagement where I'm almost dead, and there he is with a lot of health. He's barely getting any shots. He bounced one off my gun mantlet. I put one into him. I bounced one here, and then put one into his commander's hatch. And there's a bounce. But he actually hit the dead tank also. So, and as I put another one into his commander's hatch, which you got to remember, if you shoot above the gun mantlet on the Super Pershing, the turret's actually fairly weak on those as I take him out. But there was a point there where he only needed one high roll hit or two shots to take me out, and I needed to put at least 4 into him. And using hull down turned that engagement to now it's myself and the KV-2 against 2 artillery. Whereas that Super Pershing could have easily taken me out and then killed the KV-2 had he been able to get rid of me. So just kind of a quick couple of screenshots to show you that you can do hull down in any vehicle, even something like the Panther. Or in this case, the Panther's bigger brother, the Panther II. But now it's just on mop-up duty. Now, we don't know where the second artillery is, and I'm just working off the assumption that if the FV-207 was coming through town, the other artillery may have been moving in behind him. So I see the KV-2, he's moving back, and I'm going to take the long sweeping path to go all the way around. And I'm trying to be careful. If you notice, I'm actually driving on the roads rather than just plowing through everything, because some smart artillery players will actually watch for things to get knocked down, and then they'll take blind shots guessing your position. So I'm trying to avoid knocking down many things. I mean, I do take down one of the light posts there, but I'm trying not to give away my position too much. So that's why you actually see me driving on the road. And my intention was I was going to pull up here, get on this edge, and let my binoculars activate once I park right here. But just as I set up to do that, we actually see our cap get triggered. So we know that the artillery's over there. And I didn't type it all out, but I was hoping the KB2 would go to capture, because he's almost dead and a splash could kill him. Now, I'm stealthier, I have better view range, I have the more accurate gun, I could spot and kill, or at least reset, that SU-14-1 from longer range. The KB2, he's got to basically get right on top of the guy, which he'll get spotted, and then it comes down to howitzer against howitzer. But to break it there, the KB2, he takes out his enemy there, which actually ended up being one of his clanmates. And that is the ace tanker. That is the hand of God, a bruiser, a duelist, and fire for effect. I managed to get the steel wall by going hull down there in the Panther II, high caliber, and the top gun with the 6 kills. In the details, I dealt out 4,135 damage. I did get the 6 kills and 1,355 experience. And I had a lot of shots go flying like crazy because I fired 44, only had 33 hits and 20 penetrations. Did 1,369 damage over 300 meters away, and I actually blocked 1,480. And I want to give a big shout out to Massive Tanker 972 in the KB2 there. I also want to say just thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this, and give me any suggestions of tanks you'd like to see played and get some Ace Tanker gameplay footage of in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.